Hello, everyone. We want to welcome you to today's stream. We are so glad that you could be with us today. Again, I am here with you. I will be here with you for the rest of the week until Friday. Then next week, I believe Sean will be back on Monday to restart his streams, and he'll be back to it. He'll be back to teaching you. Right now, he is in North Carolina, so he's away for a little bit. He's teaching over there, and he's at a convention right now, and which is our one announcement. Remember, he is again in North Carolina. He'll be there till the 20th, 7 p.m. each of these nights. So glad he's happy to be over there. We're happy that he's over there. We're glad that we're spreading to people. We're glad that we're touching people's lives, and we're really happy for the fellowship of other people's places, and we're really glad that we could just be able to be over there, and it's a blessing to be able to go there and teach there, and it's just a big thing for him, and it's just, we're really glad to always spread the word no matter where we go. So today's thing that we're starting off with today is about Satan's greatest weapon. Many people may be like, on my mindset, this is his greatest weapon, and it's not what you may think. It's not disease or depression or temptation, death, addictions, all these things. All these other things that he convinces us to do. But I believe the greatest weapon that he has against us, against God's people, that he uses is isolation. When you separate yourself from everybody around you, it completely changes your mindset about how you think about things and how you move through things, because when you're with people, you can combine, ideas and stuff. You can help each other off of the certain things. And when you're by yourself, you have nobody else. You separate yourself from everyone. It can destroy all the aspects of your life. It can destroy your life. Isolation, can kill you. It destroys relationships. It can destroy your job if you separate yourself from that. It can take your joy away from where you've put yourself alone for so long that you have no joy in what you're doing. You have no joy in the way that you're living. You have no joy in all of these things around you that should be giving you joy. But since you separated yourself and you're not doing things with other people, you're not getting help from other people, you start to slowly, just fade away. It just destroys your life as you go. When you allow yourself to be driven into loneliness, you start to think. When you're alone by yourself, you start to think of things come back into your mind, and whether it's just you or the devil sending you some stuff, like, oh, what about this time? You failed here, you're just a failure. And then when you're by yourself, you have no one else to combat that, and you just slowly start thinking on those things more and more and more and more and more until he's got you. And then you start believing the things that you were just thinking at one time. You were just thinking, like it could be 4 days ago, you were thinking, oh, I am made like God, I am made by God, I am precious to him. But then in today or the next day, you're already thinking, well, I'm just a failure, I can't do this. See, when you let these thoughts incubate, they slowly start, they can slowly start to change your emotions. When you start to think on these things, you start to get sad, bitter, angry, or jealous. All these four emotions start to boil and cook inside you, which then, when you let it cook, then you start to get, negative towards everything, and then you separate yourself more because you're like, I'm such a failure. Well, that makes me sad, and so I push myself away from more people. I push myself away from more stuff, more things around me, and or you could be saying, well, this person wronged me, and you start getting angry or bitter, and then you start to push yourself away from that relationship, which then destroys that relationship between you and that person. Or you start to get jealous of other people's lives. Like, oh, everything bad's happening to me, I just wish I could have their life, I wish I could do this. I wish I could have this, and you start to then you start, you take it, you're like, give me, and I wish I could have this, and then you're not even grateful for your own life anymore. You're not grateful for the people that you've had. You're not grateful for the friends that you've had. You're not grateful for anything around you that God has already given you. So the thing about isolation is when everyone needs it at times. Everyone needs to be by themselves so that way they can think straight. But when you camp, when you sit down, when you build your camp in isolation where there's no one else around you and there's no one else to help you through these times, especially if you're going through like a trial or a storm in your life and you just camp yourself away from everyone else and you sit in isolation, it completely ruins. It will completely make the situation worse and ruin from where you are. It's just a thing where you have to think about what am I willing to give up in order to sit in isolation? Because you're automatically going to start giving things up when you sit in isolation. Because when you cut yourself off from all the world, well, you're cutting yourself off from your family, your friends, your church. You're cutting yourself off from all these other things around you. And when you start to camp in that isolation, the thoughts slowly start coming in from the back of your mind like, hey, what about this? Why are we out here? Well, this is why. That's why we need to be careful. We all need some time to be by ourselves. We need some time to recoup. We need to think back. We need to fight back, with our own thoughts and memories and stuff. But we should not be camping. It should be just like a quick trip. One day I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to focus on this, this, and this. I'm going to pray and I'm going to, do whatever. And then you're going to go back out the next day feeling refreshed and ready and continue on these relationships. Even if it's just for an hour, just bring yourself by yourself, think, flow, and then get back out and do your stuff, When we separate ourselves, sometimes, we start to feel pain with all of this, because when you start to think on these bad things that we've done, or you think about the things that have happened to us, all these bad things, and that's all that's flowing in, you start to feel all this pain, whether it's in your heart or your head, you're just like, oh my gosh, I wish this would stop, which then, that's what, like, the pain of it, it's just like isolation can crush you, crush your whole body and your heart. It just squeezes like a snake and it just crushes it and kills you, it like, then when you start to feel that pain, you're like, well, I have to do something, we have to find something to move us away from the pain. I don't want to feel this pain. I don't want to do this, So many people try to numb the pain by doing drugs, drinking alcohol until they're blacked out, sex. When we try to flow through all of these other options, when we feel this pain, it makes it even worse, because then you may start to feel regret on some of these things, like, oh, I did this, well, now I'm not good enough to even go to church anymore, and then it just slowly starts to build and build and build until it's like the snowball effect. You start with something small, you start rolling it, and it just keeps building. That's what's going to happen, This is why we have to be careful about isolation, because if you separate yourself and then you start to feel the pain, and then you start doing these things, whether it's drugs, alcohol, or sex, to numb it, and then you just keep going, and then you get so far out that you're like, oh, I can't do this. But God, He is the one thing that never leaves us. He is omnipresent. He is there 24/7 whenever we need Him. He is the one. When you feel all alone, you're never really alone. God is always right there, right next to you, in your heart, right next to you, flowing beside you, helping you along the side. He is there. Sometimes we just don't acknowledge it, and we don't push into it, or we just forget and push Him aside. We are like, whatever, we're not good enough anymore, and we move off to the side. But when we get into this is what really starts to hurt us. But we can come back into our original state when we fully realize that we've never really been alone. Even when the loneliest times on earth that you have felt, you've never really been alone. God has been there. He's been walking beside you. He's always been with you. Which leads me to my first verse today, which is Psalms 139. I'm going to read verses 7 through 12. And it says this, where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, you are there. If I rise on the wings of dawn, and if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like day, and the darkness is light to you. So this is saying, no matter where I go, no matter what I want to be around me, no matter if I want to be in darkness, you are always there, and the darkness just seems like light. It's just like light to him. He can see us no matter where we are. It doesn't matter what we've done, and he's always right there. He strives to have a relationship with us. He strives to have these opportunities to come with us and be with us, and he cherishes this time. And it's not only that, but they're guiding us. He's also, not only is he omnipresent, he's omnipotent. He knows everything. He knows what we're feeling. He knows about it because he knows everything. And because he knows, he can help us. He can help us. He can give us things that will help us through that time to get us out of the isolation that we put our camp in, When we walk out to if you just keep wandering into the forest and then just make camp somewhere, not knowing how to get back, and you just keep doing stuff and not even caring where you're going, God can help us get back on the path and walk straight with him. Because that's just who he is. He's merciful, but that doesn't mean that you should abuse the mercy as well. He will give you the right people for your season. Like I said, he'll give you the right people for the season, especially, and that's when, if you're in isolation and he starts giving you people, but you keep pushing the people away, then it's not going to help. It's not going to help your situation. You're going to dig yourself a deeper hole and flow down even deeper than where you want to be, And so it's just as in when you look, God will give you certain people, whether it's he's giving the people a word to give to you, or if he's giving the people just to be, become friends with you and fellowship with you and make you feel like you're not alone. And then they also, because as it says, he'll get you through that time. And then we're going to look on Proverbs 27:17, which says that iron sharpens iron, as does a person sharpens another person. So that means that he's always with us. He's constantly, when he gives us people to work with us, it's just like sharpening a sword. Because as iron sharpens iron, as it helps and it sharpens your sword to fight with, as will the people will sharpen you to get you ready to fight your battles as well. He doesn't just give you, these people just to coddle you and, oh, it's okay, it will get better. No. They'll be there to help teach you and guide you through what you're going through. They may even give you tough love, like it says in Proverbs 27, 5 and 6. It says, better is open rebuke than hidden love. Wounds from the friend can be trusted, and an enemy multiplies kisses. You see, when we can get that tough love, the wound from our friends can be trusted. So when they come at you and say, well, listen, I love you, but you are doing this wrong, and this is what's guiding you down to your isolation. You need to stop this, and you need to move into this. They are giving you that guidance that you need to move into your next season or dimension or anything, to move into your next part of your life. He is there. That person will be there to guide you and move you. You know, he knows what you need. All you need to do is ask. In that storm where you're struggling and you don't know what to do, he knows what you want. All you have to do is ask him, and he will give it to you. You know, it's just simple. It's just the ask and you shall receive as we go through our life. And I will, to see, you know, it goes. He'll open the doors that need to be open, and he will shut the doors that he needs to shut to make your life successful. So we need to trust the person that he puts around us. Amen. Even though, even when you feel the lowest of lows, that one person will stick with you. Even if you make yourself look like a fool, if that person is supposed to be in your life helping you, he will be there and stay with you. And it's not like, even when you feel like this is the only happening to you, that's false. Because some of the you know, when you look through the Bible, you see people who are casted into isolation. Like the prophet Jeremiah, he was told not to marry, and he had a couple friends, but you could see him when you look through his I don't remember the exact chapter, but there is a time where you can see him weeping. They call him the weeping prophet, and you can see him crying because he feels isolated and alone. But he was still there. You know, everyone goes through it. Prophets, you know, pastors, you go through all of this stuff. Teachers, everybody goes through it. Everyone goes through it, you know. Even Jesus himself went through it. When he was brought out to the wilderness, the devil came and tempted him out there 3 times. You know, and even here in Isaiah 53, it kind of tells about Jesus a little bit here. As it says, it's a prophecy about Jesus. And it says, he was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like the one from whom the people hid their faces, he was despised and he was held in a low esteem. When Jesus was put to the cross, everyone turned their back on him. Everyone that was, when he asked the crowd, who shall I let this murderer go, or shall I put this innocent man on the cross? Everyone that was out there turned his back against an innocent man. The lowest time of his life. Even in the time he asked God, why have you forsaken me? You know, it's like, when we go through these times, Jesus experienced the pain of loneliness. Just as all of us do. You know, and we need to help each other out of these times when we do feel lonely. When the person does feel lonely, we need to help them get out and get off and put them on their feet. So we need to stand up, and we need to help the people around us stand up and brush off yourself and get moving back to the path where you're supposed to be. Get back to the Word. When we read the Word, as I've said the past 2 days, I've been talking about the importance of the Word. When we get back, so when we start reading the Word, it gives us weapons to fight the enemy with. So when he comes and puts thoughts into our brain and into our minds, to our brains, and we start thinking about stuff, we can say, no. This, you know, I'm wonderfully and beautifully made. I am not a failure. I am exactly who God made me to be. I am made for this exact moment. You know, and just everything, you know, even like this, you know, Psalms 23:4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. You know, when we get to that point where we can just start spitting these things out to the enemy, we can finally start to combat him and push him back and say, no, what you're saying is false, and I continue my walk with God because I'm not going to force myself into isolation. You know, remember, God chose you for your specific task. And don't give that up just because you want to be in isolation. Don't give up what the task that God specifically gave you. Don't do that just because you feel lonely or just because you feel depressed and down and you want to separate yourself. Don't do that, because then it hurts your own task. It hurts what you're going to do. You know, it hurts you in the long run. When you separate yourself, you stop yourself from doing things that God wanted you to do. We need to trust in Him and then trust the people that He puts around us. We need to be able to flow with Him and move with God. And we need to be able to trust the people that He puts around us. When He puts them through and those people stay with us through the lowest of lows and through the highest of highs, that is the people, that God has put in your life that you can trust and that you can move with and that you can love on, and they will correct you when you do something wrong, and you can help correct them when they do something wrong. That is the point of the relationships that God has given you, is to bless you and to move you and to increase your thought process on Him and to increase the way you flow with Him. So just remember, everyone goes through these storms of isolation, the times where we want to be by ourselves, to our loneliness, when we get depressed and stuff, when we push ourselves aside. Today, if you see someone around you, go and help them. Grab them out and move them back to the path. You may be the person that God's trying to use to bring them back into their own life. Bring them back to where they should be. Bring them back so that way that they can be obedient to the Word of God and they can do their God-given task. Because when one person doesn't do it, who's going to do their assignment? That assignment was made for them. And when they don't do it, it's got, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to get done on their part. And that is a waste. And we shouldn't be wasting today. We should be going for everything that we can, because it's the end times. We're getting close. We need to be grabbing as many souls as we can. We need to be grabbing all these people around us that are struggling. We need to grab them and move them and, move them into their season with God as we are getting closer. I just want to thank you guys again today for watching and listening to me. It has been a blessing to be here. I hope I hope this word was able to connect you and bless you in some way. And remember that we are only sponsored by you. We are fully 100% members. We like everything, all of our income, we come from people that we preach to and from you guys. And we just want to thank everyone that already has donated. But if you haven't and you want to and God's pressing something on you, just go ahead. If you're on Facebook, hashtag donate. If you can do that, you just put the number behind there and it will shoot you a link after or during the stream. You can go there. You can fill everything out. If you're not on a Facebook right now, if you're on YouTube or Periscope, you can go to the website or you can go to our app, standingstrongministry.org or Standing Strong Ministries in the App Store. It's on the Google Play and on the App Store, the Apple App Store. You can go there. There's a part on the website where you can just go ahead and you can hit donate, and that would be a great honor for us to receive that from you guys. There's also another way that you can give, is you text the word STRONG to that number on the screen. When you text the word STRONG there, we'll also give you a website to be able to donate and to give to us, which we are so grateful for, because you guys are our source, and we believe, God is our source, but you guys are His distinguished that give it to us, and we just thank you guys for everything that you've done. We thank you guys for coming in today and listening. Today, something good is going to happen in your life. Keep that in mind. We just want to thank you guys again for showing up. Have a great rest of your day. God bless you.